Welcome to the Electric Current Rundown Podcast, episode number 30. And I'm your host, Phil Defiance, and I'll always say I'm here to encourage the spread of intriguing knowledge that can spark fires in the minds of those seeking inspiration and truly improving the world. And what I'm going to be talking about in this quick 5-minute bonus episode includes a continuation of where I left off on the topic of some small habits that will make you a more interesting person. And then also some medical breakthroughs of 2024. So, where I left off on that topic of how to make yourself a more interesting person, like other than those two things that I mentioned in the last episode, there's other things like, striking a conversation every day with, not just friends or family, but, even random people. The more social encounters you do, the more social of a person you become. And I read this in an article, and I'll tell you one thing, though. I've always been a social person my whole life, but I have noticed that, at certain points, sometimes I wasn't going out as much as other times. And I'll tell you one thing, when I do go out and interact with people, more often, then I'm even more social than, what I mean by social is, talkative and ready to just, be, fully socially astute. And that's from experience, going out there, the more experience of social endeavors, experiences you have at, the current point of time in your life, the more socially natural you become, more socially astute you become. So that's important. And also being curious, I mentioned in the last episode, to expand on that, you gotta really look into things. And then the more things you know, because you're so curious, the more interesting you become. So of course that makes a lot of sense. And there's other things too, I don't know, going on, dates with yourself, not with people, not with anyone in particular, but yourself, by yourself, doing things like that. I'll finish off on that topic, though, in a moment. I'm just going to do a quick break right here. And I'm going to say, plain bold clothing, live life to the fullest. What happened the last time you went to a party? Well, on a great adventure, you'll be the life of the party with clothing like our authentic plain goose items. You'll get exuberant designs you need. So, for items like that, go to planebold.com. That's plain like airplane, planebold.com. And so, just think about it, though. Going on a date just by yourself, you end up experiencing things more. You end up, really just thinking about it, things get taken into your mind, more so, sometimes. Especially, it makes it unique. Especially if you're a social person, it's it's a little bit of a different thing, because normally you're out with friends or family, but in this one, you're just by yourself. And so, you're going to remember it more, because that's another thing about life, peculiar events are usually more memorable. I'm not saying, have a date by yourself or whatever you want to call it, that type of thing, often. It doesn't have to be, usually, it doesn't have to be, 2-3 times a week or once a week. It could be, once a month or once every other month. It doesn't even have to be, all that often. But I'm sure, if you try that too, it'll make you more interesting, because it's really gonna, make you experience things in a unique perspective, and you're gonna remember it. And, just try that. I'm sure you're gonna realize it was a good idea. Because, I read this article, it went more deeper in the topic, but I don't have the time. But trust me, there was a good point. I'm just touching on that quickly. But, things like that. Things that I just spoke of, in the last episode. These are the kinds of things that are going to help you be more interesting. So try to incorporate them in your life, and you're going to become more interesting. So that's cool. Of course, that's a good thing. A lot of people strive for that. But either way, so, as I finish off this episode, I wanted to also go on the topic of some medical breakthroughs of 2024. And so, a couple things that caught my eye were like some breakthroughs regarding Alzheimer's. Like they figured out there's like 5 different kinds of the disease of Alzheimer's. Like a lot of people thought it was just like 1 or maybe 2, but now they realize that there's actually 5 more so particular kinds. And so there's also a connection. There's information about like brain fluids and spinal fluids and how it affects Alzheimer's as well. So they're like tweaking their methods of how to really go at like creating prescriptions that will help people with Alzheimer's, or remedies, whatever you want to call it, and it'll be based on like these kinds of factors, like the 5 different kinds, because then they'll know what to target for this kind and that kind out of the 5 kinds. And their advances in knowledge about like things related to like the liquids in the brain and the spine will also help in these endeavors as well. So these are really good things when it comes to Alzheimer's. But this is a quick 5-minute episode and I'm a bit over it. That's fine. But either way, so I'm going to finish off on that topic on my next episode. So stay tuned for that. But either way, so that's the end of episode 30 of the Electric Current Rundown with me, your host, Phil Defiance. And I'll always say, I'm here to encourage the spread of intriguing knowledge that can spark fires in the minds of those seeking inspiration and truly improving the world. And till next time, have a good one.